I am hitting record and we're going to get started. If you guys can turn your cameras on, please turn your cameras on so Susan can see your beautiful faces, and make sure we're going to ask her some questions tonight. But if you have some questions that you're dying to ask, let us know. And if we have time, we will do our best to get them answered for you. Most of you know who Susan Miller is. You've seen her on stages. Some of you are lucky enough, Lisa Maciel, I see her right and center, to get to go to her own events. Susan hosts 1 or 2 Super Saturdays at least a year and does a great job with her events. She's spoken on stages all over. She's a huge part of Herb and Patty's team, and she's an amazing leader. I've watched what she's done. We've kind of grown up in Isogenics together. Met her at one of my first Top Achiever event that I went by myself to. And she just kind of took me in under her wing, and we've been dear friends ever since. And honestly, if I need a shot in the arm, if I need a pick-me-up, I know who to go to, because her excitement and enthusiasm is so contagious that just listening to her vision of where we're going always pumps me up and gets me so fired up. So I am just so excited to be able to share her with you guys tonight. So I'm going to give you a couple of her highlights. Those of you that are brand new and maybe don't know who she is. She's an 8-star platinum, a 9-star crystal executive. She has earned the Woman of Isogenics Award, a collaboration award. She is not only a millionaire here, but she also was in a previous company as well. She, Isogenics Mill 36. You were number 36, the 36 millionaire?
No, I did it in 36 months.
36 months. Okay. I'm like, what on earth?
Number 144 was a lot more.
And has 10 millionaires on her team. So that is so cool. And that's, I think, one of the things that sets Susan apart is she's really, really good at this, but her growth comes from rising up leaders and really helping other people achieve that success too. So guys, I'm going to bring Susan on. I'm going to have her start by just sharing a little bit of her story with those of you that might be new and may not have heard her story before. And then we're going to go into some questions. And Susan, I kind of asked our top leaders today what they wanted to hear from you. And they want me to have you share what you say to people. So I'm going to have you share your story, and then we're going to do some Q&A, and I'm just going to come out and have you share exactly what you say to people, because they want to hear your wording and your verbiage around it.
No plan here. We're just going to wing it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us, especially I know you're going on a trip tomorrow, so we are so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I always am so appreciative of when you reach out, because I love you. You know that. But we've had a very similar journey along the way. So, and the funny thing is, guys, I don't know if you know this, but last NYKO we spoke on stage, and the thing that was so interesting, and we put this together when we were asked to speak with our children, was that we both came at this from 2 totally different perspectives. And that's probably one of the most unique things, but yet that's the part I love the most, is that it's not how you bring somebody in. It's that you actually just learn the skill sets of network marketing so you can build the team. Because if you were going to define what is network marketing, I would have to say it means team. And then you can put everything else around it you want to, but it means team. You cannot do it alone. And so those people who are not engaging with their upline, their sideline, their downline, all their teams in general, the reality is that your ability to succeed is just gone, because you cannot. It's like trying to play a football game with just the quarterback and nobody's going to catch the ball. You need to work together with people. So the idea that we came in from 2 totally different perspectives, Cindy, right? I mean, I was blown away when we were going through the practicing of what we were going to say and everything, and how her journey took place. Matter of fact, I pulled those slides today because my daughter and I are the keynote for NYKO Mexico next week. And so I was pulling some of those slides, and I'm looking at you with all those boxes and everything, and I'm like, wow, so different. So I know you all know her story, and if some of you don't know mine, I'll be tight with it. But I started off in this industry when I was 28 years old. And at the time, I was the owner of a cosmetic company in Boca Raton, Florida. And before that, I was a hairdresser. And I had learned early on as a hairdresser that exchanging time for money, working on the floor, I didn't really know what it was back then. I couldn't have articulated the way I can today, but I knew that it wasn't going to work for me because it was very backbreaking. And so I evolved into owning my own cosmetic company, and I was within the salon industry, which is my wheelhouse. And then I was introduced to this industry, and I was so curious about it because somebody I had a lot of respect for, a man, asked me to go to a meeting in Boca Raton, Florida. And I said, sure, I'll go. Who asks a 27, 28-year-old for their opinion in business? So I go, and I walk into a room, and there's 350 plus people in the room, and half of them were men. And it was a skincare company. And I'm like, I'm missing something, clearly, because what the heck are they doing here? And so I walked myself up to the front of the room, and I sit down, and I start hearing these two men, by the way, presenting, and they were from Boston, which is where I'm from. And so I'm listening and I'm leaning in, and that's what it was. What they were saying was speaking to me, but what they were talking about was business. And as a business owner, I already had all of the hardship and already experienced it now because I'd already been in business for myself for a couple of years. The inventory, the accounts receivable, the payroll, the overhead, all of the responsibility of a traditional business. And so they were talking about business and the opportunity to get in front of a business opportunity before the whole world heard about it. But the part that they spoke into was leveraged residualized income. And I didn't know that that was even a thing. I didn't know that that was available. I didn't go to college. It wasn't afforded to me. I put myself through hair school, and I became the accidental entrepreneur myself in my own industry. And I evolved into learning business just by doing it. And so when they were talking about an opportunity for me not to have to be the focal point of my income, which even though I own my own business, if I didn't show up for a couple of days, it was not going to go well, you know? And so this whole concept became very intriguing to me. And then he mentioned something that I'll never forget. I don't think I heard anything else afterwards. He said he was making $50,000 a month. And I'm like, what? No way. Like, seriously, this is my industry. I'm not making that money. This is a guy who was he's a financial guy, and the other one was in real estate. And so the one thing they did do that I thought was very interesting is they brought a ton of people across the stage at the right moment in time when they were talking about the product. And instead of talking about the features of the product, they brought people across and talked about the results, the benefits. And everyone was just talking about what product they liked. And they would say it in a way that made you want to know more. So they were creating this curiosity instead of satisfying every single aspect of it and trying to make me learn the industry and everything about the product all in one sitting. And it worked. It worked.
That's so cool. And I do love your story. And I think what's so cool is, we do get a lot of people that either didn't go to college, or maybe they went to college and they're not working in their profession. A lot of our team works full-time jobs outside of Isogenics, and they're filling this in the pockets. And your story just is so motivating and inspiring, because it's another story of anyone that gets to work to learn the skills and works their butt off can do this. And you have worked your butt off for years and years. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I know you're definitely most attracted. I mean, you love everything about Isogenics, but would you say probably your favorite thing is our compensation plan and the way we pay our associates?
Without a doubt. I mean, this is how I explain it, Cindy. I go, look, I love these products, okay? I love wine too. But I'm not building a worldwide business around the wine. Okay. I would just drink it and share it with everybody, my favorite wine. The reality is that the reason why I'm doing this for a business is because they got the financial model right. And my story goes, just to recap what was happening. I went in to that company. I leaned in. I decided to pursue it. In 8 months, I replaced my full-time income from my own company, which was a strong 6-figure income. And 3 months later, I replaced my husband's full-time income from his own company, property and casualty business in Boca Raton. And I looked at my husband like, are you serious? Now I was working full-time in my traditional company. So I was putting in normally 60 hours a week. So what I did was I carved off a few hours out of my day from my traditional business. And then I carved off a few hours from my personal life. And I made it about this. And then I got very focused. I mean, I never want anyone to think that you can have massive success without massive effort. It's not going to happen.
No.
But the beautiful part is you can build it alongside what you're currently doing, and the massive effort does not take massive time. It takes effort, and effort is condensed bursts of energy. 15 minutes here, half hour there. It's that kind of energy, and it's concentrated over a long period of time. It's like working out, right? When you're starting to work out, it's really hard. But then once you're in shape, it's maintenance. It's like you can go in and out of a gym in 20, 30 minutes and still maintain the body. That's the same thing with this business, with anything, I think, in life. And so the reality for me is that we had massive success. We both sold our businesses. Our family thought back in Boston, they thought we were in a cult. I'm like, no, it's a culture of entrepreneurs. Okay. So the reality is that yes, we are different, and anything that's different bugs people, makes them uncomfortable, especially if you're going to go do something that's different than them. And so you're going to have to make some choices. Those people that want to hold you back, it's not that they want to harm you. They just don't want you to change, because it means they have to change, and they're not going to change. Or maybe a few will, bring them along with you. And the rest that don't, stay friends, stay reaching out occasionally if they're not going to join you in your life. But if they're going to put you down, you have to reassess if they're your friends. And I had to deal with that, to be very honest with you. I was young. It wasn't in this day and age with the internet, which is crazy. It works in your favor and not in your favor, as we all know. But the reality is that we made over $1 million, and we were the youngest income earners in that company, or one of. We traveled the world. My husband and I had the time of our lives. I say to this day, I love this industry because it attracts the people who show up in their own lives. These are the people that do not complain about why things aren't working. They try to find a solution to fix it. And it's the entrepreneurial mindset. And so I love the people that this industry attracts. And unfortunately, multi-level marketing was the industry that I was introduced to. And it's very similar to our company, as far as we prospect people, as far as we build teams, as far as we build through word of mouth as opposed to advertising online or traditional business. But the difference is the compensation plan was really just too difficult for the masses. And so I just decided that after building a team and seeing it fall apart 3 or 4 times, I said, I just lost my belief in the industry, and I quietly decided to retire. And I still earn an income today from that company, like 20 years later. I mean, it's a brilliant thing. I'm grateful that I have it. But I can honestly tell you there's only one reason, and one reason only, I came back into this industry, and it's because of the Cougars. I mean, when I tell you that it's not just that they got the compensation plan right, and I do say that to people, but I will tell you today, knowing everything I know about them, that I know that my children, my own daughter does this business with me, and my son, who's 19 years old, just came on board. And I know for sure that this is a legacy company, that they will be here. Even though the previous company I was with is a legacy company, it's just really, really, really hard to make money in that company. And in this company, I'm not going to say it's easy, it's simple. And there's a difference.
Yeah, so true. So true. And we feel so safe here. And, the more I get to know the Cougars and the executive leadership team, the more comfort I have in being here, and the more loyal I feel too. Like, I just feel like I'm so loyal to this company. I'm so grateful and thankful. And it's such a blessing. All right, so let's get into it. So we know, and if you don't know, if you're brand new, you guys, Susan is definitely very, very much about the business. So when you meet people, tell us how conversations go. Do you get started right away with the business with people, or is it just like during conversation? How do you get Isogenics to come into the conversation, and how do you get into the business? That's what people are wanting to know. Is it pretty quick? Is it different on, each discussion you're having? How does it normally go for you?
Okay, so let me just preface this by saying these products have dramatically changed the quality of my life. I live with multiple autoimmune diseases. These products have truly enhanced that quality of life. I talk about the benefits, not the features, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a nutritional cleansing coach, nor do I ever want to be one. It's just not something that attracted me into this industry. I just would never have come in for that purpose. It is the brilliance of this model of network marketing and the idea that I have the privilege of being able to join a company that got it right. And so I feel so obligated to share the brilliance of this compensation plan and the idea that people can, if they so choose, alongside what they currently do, supplement, replace, or create wealth and legacy for themselves. And so I speak into the financial opportunity because that's why I'm building a business. I'm not building a business because I'm simply trying to help people get healthy. I love the idea that that's part of my financial model. So let me preface it by saying this. You can talk all day long about these products and never mention the business, but you cannot talk about the business and never mention the product. So I am not negating our products by no means, and I know that that concerns people, but I can. It would be like saying, I am owning a franchise and my product doesn't matter. No, it does. But I'm trying to teach people why you should own a franchise as opposed to why you should eat my product. Do you see the difference?
Yep,
It's just a
absolutely.
shift.
Absolutely. And I feel the same exact way. So how do you then bring the business in? So you're talking to someone and you'll share your story, because I know your personal story and how the products have helped you. So you share that story. And, I never leave a conversation without talking about loyalty rewards and referral rewards. Never, ever, ever. So how do you do that? Because I know some people just feel a little bit uncomfortable bringing that part of it in. And I want them to feel comfortable, because that is the true treasure here, is this
Yeah.
compensation plan. So
And
how?
I feel uncomfortable talking just about product to people because I'm my comfort zone, my wheelhouse, if you will be, is about business. And so it's really just what your focus is. So I would say to you, there's a passive approach and there's a direct approach. I like the direct approach, but that's not always the case. So there's the direct approach is going to be, Cindy, are you open to a financial opportunity? I have come across something that I am so impressed with. It's a yes or no, and I'm okay with that. Because either you're open or you're not. And then if you're not, what am I going to do? I'm shifting right into asking you questions about your health. Now, the reality is that every single conversation is different. I'm not a script person, so I'm not the person you want to interview about what do you say exactly. Like I'm going to say something different every time because I'm emoting. I'm a chameleon. I'm going to balance the energy of the conversation of where we're going. But if I'm writing my list, so when I coach my people, I go, look, our job in network marketing, okay, is to have a small base business, but collectively we're a large business. So each of us have our own responsibility to run our small base business. And in that small base business, we're supposed to have, just as a guideline, 10 customers and 10 business builders. Why 10 business builders? Because that makes us an executive. And guess what, guys? Customers do not build our networks. They just don't. They might refer people to you or not. I talk about the example of being a hairdresser. And as a hairdresser, I stood behind the chair and I cut hair, but there was never a moment that I thought my customer was going to get up and start cutting hair. But I knew that they could refer me more customers. Now, using that as an example, the only way I could leverage myself is to not be one chair, is to have many chairs in that salon and many people cutting hair, except I'm the only person leveraged. So I'm looking for other people who are looking for leveraged income. So the questions I'm asking are different than the questions you're asking about a customer. See, when you're going through a customer, you're trying to create the accidental entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean by that? It's like you're going to cultivate the customer. You're going to have them fall in love with the product. They're going to involve into showing them how they can make their money back. Maybe our friends and family program of earning $100 back by sharing it with 2 people, right? Plus PIBs. That's part of a sales process of turning a customer into showing them how to get their money back by sharing it with friends and family. But when they then get their people to share it with other people, now you're in network marketing. And so I kind of want to just circumvent that process because that's a long process. Now, I'm not saying I don't have those. I have plenty of people that I share with the product and they evolve, but that's my feeder group to potentially finding a few people that might want to evolve into becoming professional network marketers. I speak into the industry that has come of age. I speak into the fact of the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. I was laughing because I just saw this. My daughter gave this book to my son, and she's 26, and this says, Rich Dad, Poor Dad for Teens. So this is teaching financial awareness and understanding. So when I'm talking to people, I already have an idea of what's going on in their life, if it's somebody I know. And so, the idea of, would you ever be open to learning how to create passive income alongside what you're currently doing? That's going to be somebody that is, I know them, or you know what I do, but I'm pretty sure you have no idea what it is that I actually do. Are you open? Could you have a cup of coffee with me? Would you mind if I treat you to lunch one day and just chat with you and explain to you what I do, regardless if you want to do it or not? Would you be open to letting me just share? You know why I want to? Two reasons. One is I just want you to know what I do. And two, you might know someone I can help. I'm not expecting everyone I talk to. Matter of fact, I know the majority of people are not going to want to do what I do. It's unfortunate. They should, but that's called know your audience, right? And so there's a woman who did a training. It's called Bank, and it's Take It to the Bank. Her name is Sherry Tree, and she was interviewed one time by Eric Worre, and I listened to it. And I'm like, that is brilliant. She talks about different types of people. And when I went to the original Tony Robbins event, Cindy, that we were talking about earlier, it was about influence. And it was years ago, 30 years ago. I brought 60 people to this event, and my business went through vertical growth afterwards. And it was because he talked about knowing your audience, and that 50%, if not more, of the people in the world live inside the box. Now, this is not what he says, this is what Sherry says. And what they mean by that is these are people that are very comfortable with what they consider security. Someone is going to tell them, you show up from this time to that time, 40 hours a week, I'm going to pay you this, and you're going to have these vacations. And somebody told them when they're going to work and when they're not going to work and what they're going to make. And they are very comfortable with that. Is that you guys?
No way.
No. But that is the majority of the people. And so there's a saying, you have to get more no's so you can get a yes. That is just ridiculous. I'd rather just get more yeses, right? Wouldn't you? I just want to get more yeses. So why not vet the people? I consider myself a recruiter. See, I'm a business recruiter, and I'm looking for professional people who want to build something alongside what they're currently doing so they can move from the left-hand side of the quadrant to the right-hand side of the quadrant. I'm assuming you guys know what I mean when I say that. Anyone don't know what I mean? Yes. Talking to a very educated group.
Most of them probably do. So where do you look for these people? Are you in networking groups? Do you advertise? Do you do sponsored advertisements? Where are you finding people that will have lunch with you?
I'm not saying that any of that is not viable, okay? What I'm saying is that it is easier for me personally and so cost effective. I'd rather I honestly say when I go on vacation, I meet so many new people. It is the most fun. If anyone told me being in the cold market was so much fun, it is so much more fun than the warm market sometimes. Because in your own warm market, everyone's judging you. And I don't know why. I'm not going to be a psychologist about this. But unless you have like really close family members that are just like you, the chances are you're the one that's different than everybody else. In my family, that's me. And so I have a huge family, and unless I birth them, they're not in my business. Okay. So, and I have a massive team. So can you build outside your own family? Absolutely. And this is what I meant by the living inside the box. So then there's this other group of people that live outside the box. So that's a good question. Like, hey, are you someone that lives inside the box or outside the box? I mean, I'm just talking about curiosity questions, right? Every single person on this call lives outside the box. They just are open. Are you open? That is, I say it over, and I say the same thing over and over and over. Are you open? Oh my God, you need to meet my friend. The next step is 1, 2, 3, kick the ball. I promise you, I understand scripts work for some people. It's just never been me. And so you might be getting somebody else on that can help you with scripts. I'm with energy. I like to just engage with people. I'm a chameleon. If they're talking fast, I'll talk fast. If they're talking slow, I'll slow it down. I'm a Bostonian. I tend to talk fast. I will mirror their personality, and I just want to get to know them. And it's like, ask 10 questions and you'll know if they fit in with what you do. So are you outside the box, inside the box? You have the people who like to recycle the box. Those are the people who love to share and help. They're very much our nutritional cleansing coaches. But I would like to say to those people, and they might be you, and there are plenty of them on my team, is this. You can help those people who like to help other people. We call them nurturers, right? They're the ones that like to recycle the box. You can help people as much as you can physically, financially. And there are more people willing to make a change financially than they are willing to make a change physically.
That is very well said. Wow. Yeah, very well said. Okay, so I've got a couple more questions. So tell us this, if you could give people a tip to be more attractive to people about the business, like your confidence, there's this air about you that and I've seen it. Like I was in your home for an after party, and I remember talking to Joe and like all these amazing people, and I wanted to hear their stories. And Joe was not like, he was someone you had to kind of nurture for a while before he finally
Yeah.
said yes.
I don't work for him.
He's an amazing, amazing success story. But you definitely have what I would call an attraction factor. Like your belief level is so high. So for people that want that, for people that want to sound like you do, what can they do? We've got some newer people on here, some people who want this so desperately. What can they do to get to that level like you are? So
this is good practice, because this is what I have to talk about in Mexico. Okay. So, here's the thing. You have to write this down, because this is a Tony Robbins quote that I learned at 28 years old. Your belief is your most powerful tool of influence. Period. Here's the deal. The person with the strongest belief in the end always wins. Okay? So here are some of the things. How do you build belief? Number one, fall in love with the product. Okay? But if you're going to talk about the product, fall in love with the product. Now listen, nobody's going to market a business that they don't believe in the product that they're using. So I tell people, for the sake of this conversation, we've done close to 8 billion in cumulative sales. Would you agree that our products work? Okay. Can I just tell you about the financial model that's blowing my mind, that's changed my life, that I started off my life as a hairdresser, and that I didn't have the opportunity to go to college, but yet this is the greatest equalizer of all time. I have the opportunity to make $600,000 plus a year residual income that I can will to my children. Oh. Right? And I don't have a college education. Like, what I like to do is just be honest with people. Like, just be real with them. And when someone wants to throw up some shade or some negative energy, I'm like, look, let me ask you a question. Are you skeptical or cynical? And I wait. Because if you're skeptical, I'm happy to chat with you. But if you're cynical, we no need. I'm good. My job is not to convince you. Mm-hmm. My job is to find people that are open. Are you open? Are you open to get healthy? Are you open to get healthy physically and financially? I lean in for the financial because I'm looking for business people right now. Because I truly believe the biggest mistake we make in network marketing, you might want to write this down, is we go after our customers and then we try to convince our customers to do our business. It's very annoying. People get really upset with us for doing that. Now, that doesn't mean we can't cultivate them. We can't, go through that process of showing them how they can get their products paid for and evolving. But wouldn't it be so much fun if you could circumvent that whole thing and you could say to someone, hey, listen, are you interested in a financial opportunity? Would you be open to meeting my friend? Now, so it's, are you open, meet my friend, your next step is. Every single time. Why? Because if it's not that simple, it can't be duplicated in masses. And so are you open means I'm giving them permission to say no. Thank you. Do you know anybody that might be? Well, now, the chances are, if they're not open, they know no one. So that's a really hard question to ask someone that's not open to share something. But if it's not the right time in their life to take action, that could be a reason why they're not open. Bad time. And those are two things that we can't control, right? But if they're open, why do I want them to meet my friend? Well, if you're a new person, you have all these people we don't know, and we have the expertise and the credibility because we've had the success. So your job, can you imagine if Kathy Coover said to you, all you have to do is introduce everybody to me and I'll build your business for you. Would you not do it? Because I know I would.
Oh, yeah.
So your upline leader, their number one goal is to help you succeed. And I can promise you, there is more than 50% of people on this call that are not taking advantage of that, if not more. And it is the biggest mistake. Why? Network marketing is about being a walking, talking infomercial. And what is the most compelling part of an infomercial? It's the personal testimonies. It's the validation. And it's not one. Why do they just not have one person that they show the beginning and after? They show 2 or 3 or 4, right? Because there's a tipping point when people hear it from somebody else where it all of a sudden goes, oh gosh, okay, my belief now is moving towards you. And it's not a belief once they sponsor in. They're just getting started. This is an evolution that continues. So I'm like, your next step is, I say this every single time I talk to somebody. Your next step is, let's get you on some products. Let's get you some amazing products and get you some real estate in this incredible company. And then I'm like, your next step is, oh my gosh, let's share it with 2 people and get your money paid for and get a business, start your business centers, right? And let's position your family in some great real estate, depending on if I'm talking to someone who's really into the business. And then if your next step is, okay, we're going to consultant, then it's manager, then it's director, and then it's executive. Why? Because executives build networks. Consultants don't, managers don't, directors don't. You know why? Because they're still in their evolution. A brand new executive, number one goal is to create another executive. And if you look at our compensation plan, if you have one executive on one team and you're an executive and you have one executive on the other, you're a 1-star. And that's where it begins.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love your verbiage. And you addressed one of the questions I was going to follow up with, because your belief is so high, also you're making a lot of money in the industry. So I was going to ask you about the new person. And guys, that's where Susan said it so beautifully. Get your upline to get on a 3-way with you. If you don't have a story to tell yet, if you're not making the income that you want to be making yet, and you don't feel like you can talk about the business because you're not quite there yet, that's when you have to reach out to one of your upline leaders. Let us help you with that, because our stories will help you and our belief is there. And that's where we can come in super, super helpful for you. All right, so I want to honor your time. I know you've got a trip in the morning. Could you maybe end the call on, we've just made some more enhancements to the compensation plan, which, I mean, when they talked about this, the executive bonus, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I have not personally talked with you since that announcement came out. What are you thinking about that? How is your team feeling about that? Where are you guys, like, are you fired up with that and the Zizia announcement? What are you feeling right now?
So I was a big part of wanting more money towards behavior that builds leadership. And I understand the double PIB and all of that, but I felt that myself personally, the focus was so limited. Everyone was just focusing on the double PIB, and the double PIB does not build a network. It stays very linear, okay? And so if you want to create a network, it is about, it's called driving a line. It's about your deck. So you bring in 2 people, but if your next goal is to just go out and get 2 more people, but you're not actually cultivating them to do the same, you're in traditional business. You're in linear. You're exchanging time for money. So when I speak to people, I go, I want to show you how to make $3,100 by sharing this with 10 people who get 2. You don't have to do all the work. We're going to find 10 people who get 2. I cast the higher picture, okay? Now, walking them through all of that in the beginning, when they start to, you show them as they're doing it. Your next step is, let's go consultant. I'll show you how to make $100. Your next step is, let's go to director. I'm going to show you how to make $450. The next step is to go to director, manager rather than director. And you walk them through as needed, okay? But the big picture is, we're going to get 10 people get 2. Why? Because now you have 30 people on your team. And 30 is the sweet spot. The company didn't just come up with that number arbitrarily. 30 people on your team is really important. Now, wait, what if all 30 people on your team stayed active? Meaning, you have an executive who is responsible. Remember, I went back and said we're a small-based business responsible for our own little company, but collectively we're a big business. My job is to have 10 people who have 2. My job to my team, my contribution to my team is I'm going to manage 30 people. I'm going to have 10 people who have 2. And then I'm going to find out of those 30 people how to find at least one person on the left and one person on the right who wants to go executive. And then out of the next group of 30 people, I'm going to find one person and one person, and I'm going to grow it exponentially. The only way I've introduced this to about 200 people, and I'm going to hit 8 years March 1st. I'm not a master recruiter. What I am is a master team developer. I can turn one person into 1,000 people. And as Jimmy Smith says, you can never run out of your warm market if you build through other people's warm markets. And so what biggest mistake people make is they stay on the left-hand side of the quadrant in our company, where that's your PIBs and even your RABs and even your pools and your promotions and your trips and all of that is the left-hand side of the quadrant. Now, they're there to incentivize you to get to the right-hand side. But unfortunately, way, way, way too many people are very transactional, and they don't ever learn the skills of developing a network. And the skills of developing a network is creating executives. Go exec, grow execs, stay exec. And so when the company announced, I was with part of the process of having that put together. And I was like, Sharon, that is exactly what we need. And there's another part I don't want to mention yet, but I believe will come by celebration. This reset was to reboot us up. And if they do what I hope they do, we'll never have a need to have a reset because we'll always have access to that income. But pay us to build the network. I would rather the focus and the money go towards creating managers, directors, and executives. And that's what builds your network, driving your line, always helping your team members. I took the focus off me and put it onto my team. And that's why I have over 110,000 people on my team. And we have, so for every, we're just about to break 11th millionaire. So for every 10,000 people, we have a millionaire. And that means that millionaire can't be there alone unless you have a lot of people there making $20, $30, $40, $50, $100,000 on their team. Network marketing is the exact opposite of traditional business. Traditional business, like my own company, I had a small base company. There were a few of us that sold a lot of product, and that's how we made our money, period. Network marketing is flip it. You have massive amounts of people. No one's selling. Everyone's just consuming. So it's redirect spending. Let me show you how to replace your breakfast of your bad choices breakfast of carbohydrates and cholesterol and calories with this really great, unbelievable tasting breakfast of a protein shake or pancake, however you want to make it. I don't care. And maybe have an energy source or minerals that's missing out of your diet. So a shake and a shot a day. I'm going to show you how to redirect spend that and then exponentially grow that to where you can earn not 1% of 100 people's efforts, but 6%.
Yeah, that's great. You guys are going to want to play this video over and over and over again, and I will upload it to YouTube and send it to you, Susan. I know your team gets to hear it from you all the time, but this is just a fabulous call. I can't thank you enough. Lots of really great nuggets here. I can't wait to listen to it again myself. And I can't thank you enough. your excitement and the way you explain things is just, it's refreshing. It is very different. And guys, if you want more, she does a lot with Jimmy Smith. I'm going to post in the business page. Jimmy Smith is on Jay Bennett's
Top
call
down.
9. Yeah. So in 20 minutes, if you want a little bit more tonight, I'll share the link with you for that call as well. And you can get a little more with Jimmy Smith. But Susan, we love you. I can't thank you enough for sharing with us tonight.
My pleasure. And guys, I mean, one of my 3 goals that I came back into this industry for was, one, to show my daughter that her mother actually worked, had a career, because I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. I did that check. She's a top business builder, just like your son is, Tyler. They were on stage with us. Such an amazing experience to have that. The second part was that, I was turning 50 when I started this business, and my husband's the same age, and I'm like, I really would love the opportunity for him not to be stressed about how we are going to continue the rest of our lives and be able to pay for our businesses and our expenses. And then the third one was, I was being given an opportunity with this company specifically to be able to come back into an industry that had broken my heart, but they gave me hope again that there was an opportunity to professionalize this industry. And there is no better company. There are no better caregivers of this industry than our owners. I promise you that. Because for me to bring my own children into this, there are too many, I just would say this, there are so many companies out there that are trying to be us. And in doing it, sometimes they're trying to even attack us to do it, right? And I would just say this, we can't change how other people behave. We can only focus on how we behave. And I am so honored to be part of being the professional network marketers that we are, and teaching people what it means to be that. And if you own that and you build your belief in what it means to be a professional network marketer, which is about being somebody who learns how to build teams. You don't make it about selling a product. You make it about building a team of committed consumers who have a vested interest in staying with these products for life and honoring the process of what it takes to build that culture. And so to me, it's been the greatest gift in my life to be able to do this.
Oh, same here. I couldn't agree more. Well, I love you. Thank you for sharing with us. Have a wonderful trip to California. Have a great time at Tony Robbins. Can't
Thank
wait to
you.
watch what happens to your business after that event.
Yeah, me too.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in and giving Susan your attention tonight. And I hope she gave you plenty of golden nuggets that you guys can really utilize in your businesses and really, really make a difference. So love you guys. Thanks, Susan.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Good night, everybody.